always been for border security. And the fact of the matter is this campaign is going to involve a enormously important contrast between the Biden-Harris administration, which has pushed for bipartisan border security legislation that would fix the problems at the border, and Donald Trump, who killed that bipartisan deal. Today, border crossings are lower at the southwest border than they were at the end of the Trump presidency. First of all, Kamala Harris has always been for border security.
She's always been for border security. So when she was an AG in California, did she contest the sanctuary city and sanctuary state status? Because she's been so strong on border security. Because in her own state, illegals are coming in droves, unabated, unencumbered by any vetting process. But you're supposed to believe, man, I am going to prove to you beyond any shadow of a doubt that they are counting on low information voters. They're counting on voters that will be transfixed by her color and by her gender. I come bearing receipts.
The bill also says, quote, every individual who is a resident of the United States is entitled to benefits for health care services under this act. Not every individual who's a citizen, but every individual who's a resident. So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period.
Okay, so that wasn't a cheap fake. That is Kamala. And she is outright telling you, you will be paying for it. I'm sorry, I have to use the, Democrat decoder ring. She's saying outright, you're going to pay for it. Why? Well, they're human beings. And since they're human beings, they deserve everything. They all deserve the utopia that we can provide. What utopia? See, America's utopia is you come here, you work, you provide for yourself and your family, and we won't get in your way. That's not what she's proposing. She's proposing a Marxist ideology. You got to understand that. This whole, no one should be denied. I oppose any policy that would deny any human being. Any human being. Public health, universal health care. And so then you have to pay for it. Now you may think, because I know that there are people, well, that's called being compassionate. No, it isn't. It's called being a Marxist. Now, for those of you who probably, you've never put this together, and in all honesty, neither did I. But I am going to show you what Kamala is really about. And there are some of these word salads she uses. They're not word salads. Kamala is infinitely worse than Joe Biden. You think things are bad now? If she gets to the White House, that's it. Unless we have a complete control of the Senate and the House. This is done. And by the way, I'm going to prove it to you. Before we go any further, why don't you wreck that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and press that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Border encounters reach lowest level under Biden as U.S.-Mexico cooperate at unprecedented level ahead of election. Ahead of the election. They are cooperating, making sure that we lock down that border. They are spitting in your face. They're telling you they could have done this 3 years ago. They could have done this a long time ago. But they know that she's vulnerable. And they know that Donald Trump is going to use this chaos at the border against her. And they know they don't have a leg to stand on. So they're trying to get rid of any talking points that somehow, some way, well, no. The border crossings are down. They're down now. See, they knew they had to do this because they didn't have a leg to stand on. It's really, man, it's unconscionable. The U.S. and Mexico are cooperating on border policy at an unprecedented level ahead of the 2024 election as the border encounters fall to their lowest levels since 2020, the Wall Street Journal reported on Monday. Customs and Border Protection, the latest numbers show that agents reported nearly 84,000 southwestern land border encounters in June, a significant drop from the record 250,000 encounters reported in December 2023. June's numbers are the lowest under President Joe Biden, but are still above the monthly average under the Trump administration. The Wall Street Journal reported that unpublished CBP data shows that border encounters in July fell to 57,000, which would be the lowest level since 2020 if confirmed by the agency. This is all gaslighting. This is all being done so that they do not allow Donald Trump to use the border as an issue. The recent decrease in border encounters along with the U.S.-Mexico border is aided by heightened security in Mexico, where authorities are preventing mass concentrations of migrants and sending migrants back to Mexico's southern border if they're caught traveling toward the U.S., according to the Wall Street Journal. They've been able to do this for years. They just know there's no way she becomes president if they don't get this under control. This is amazing. Along with Mexico's increased security, Biden, after claiming for months that he could not address illegal immigration without authorization from Congress, issued an executive order in early June seeking to cut down on unlawful migrant crossings. See, if you think that somehow, no, she's really been strong on the border, you're a moron. Now, for those of you who are really not putting this all together, when she tells you point blank, every human being should have free this and free that and free the other, this is what she's actually saying.
Vice President Harris will say repeatedly, what is the quote? The quote is that we can see what can be unburdened by what has been. Is that word salad or Marxism? It's Marxism. That is, in fact, not at all word salad. It is a Marxist. As I said on Twitter the other day and got mocked relentlessly by the media for this, I said it's a Marxist incantation, as a matter of fact. It's like a spell. So you can see the possibility of a world that's unburdened from its own history, which is exactly what Mao Zedong did when he launched the campaign of Smash the Four Olds, the four old characteristics of Chinese society. They were going to make a new China that was going to be unburdened by what had been in the past of China. This is what the Soviets, the Bolsheviks, did when they took over power in Russia, is that they were going to make the new Russia. They're going to make the new man, as a matter of fact. People could become unburdened by what has been so that they could see what could possibly be in the terms of a socialist utopia. So, Madam Vice President, when she says that, I assume, given that her father was a Marxist and a professor, I assume she knows what she's saying, and I don't buy her idiot Valley speak shtick one bit. I think she's far more smart and far more savvy than conservatives have given her credit for, and she is an outright Marxist. It is very, very clear in her language, and that's what the Democrats want to nominate for president right now, which is kind of horrifying.
It's not a word salad. What she is talking are Marxist talking points. Now, I'm going to prove to you they are counting on the dumbest electorate ever. This is your proof. If you need, still you can't prove that. Oh no. What you are watching is Kamala Harris's campaign page. I was just perusing it because I heard something that was just, I couldn't believe it. Take action. Take action. You can help elect her as president. This is all on her page. Okay. Where are her policies? No policies. Ooh, but they got a bunch of merch. Yeah, you can get a cup and you can get a t-shirt. Don't you want to get a Kamala hat? Don't you want a Kamala hat? Under this entire website, there is nothing whatsoever to do with policy. What she'll do. Literally nothing. Oh, still, come on. I did a word search on the entire website. There's the only thing that you can do is donate and buy her merchandise. They give you this ridiculous, life story, and you're supposed to be so fascinated. My goodness. She's such a wonderful person. How can she not be in the White House? And you're not getting any policy whatsoever. They are counting on the dumbest people in this country to vote for her with no indication of what she'll do when she's president. Look, hold on a second, because I had to put it down. Words not mentioned on Kamala Harris's campaign pledge. Look at this. U.S. border mentioned 0 times. The Texas border mentioned 0 times. Illegal immigrants mentioned 0 times. Crime mentioned once, but under the guise of gun reform, because she still wants your guns. Inflation, it was mentioned 0 times. Gas prices mentioned 0 times. And grocery prices mentioned 0 times. She's not telling you anything she's going to do, but she doesn't have to, because she's a woman of color. She's an independent woman, don't need no man. She's not telling you anything. But they know they're going to have to get that border under control, because that will be an albatross tied around their neck of their own doing, by the way. So that traitor, Alejandro Mayorkas, not only, and this is just me, orchestrated this assassination attempt. I believe it was him, because there's no way all of those what is called fractal failures happened with I'm sorry. You have to be a moron if you believe that. And now he's securing the border. Why? Well, Kamala can't get in office if you keep that border open. Now, for those of you who were thinking, no, Donald Trump killed that deal. We had a bipartisan bill. No. And if you've been following my channel, you already know all they were doing was codifying what's happening at the border right now. That's all they were doing. The bill codified keeping our border open, giving unfettered access to everything they want. Think about this. She doesn't mention one policy she advocates. Not one. Like, like that's insane. When you go to Project 47, or I'm sorry, Agenda 47, Donald Trump gives you a long list. This is exactly what I'm going to do with regard to inflation. This is what I'm going to do with regard to the border. This is what I'm going to do with mass, deportations. This is what I'm going to do. He gives you, bullet points, issue after issue after issue after issue. This is why when you hear them, Trump calls her a DEI hire. He's so transfixed on her color. Even though he isn't, he's the one talking about policy. She's the one avoiding policy. I just showed you. Her own webpage doesn't have anything about any policy, foreign or domestic for that matter. Nothing. Wow, man. I mean, if you're one of these people, you're gonna vote for her. You are one of those morons they're counting on. It's like, okay, well, just so this is what you have to do with your leftist friends. Well, I'm voting for her. Right. What's her policy on foreign intervention? What's her policy on prescription drugs? What's her policy on crime? These woke DAs. What's her policy on securing our border? It'll come up bupkis. Because she's not going to say jack squat dooley, because she can't. My guess is, and I have no inside information, they're never going to have Kamala Harris on the same stage as Donald Trump. They're just going to duck and bob and weave, so they never have to be on the stage. Because if they are on the stage, Donald Trump is going to crush her. Just with the policy alone. He'll never have to mention her color. Won't have to mention her gender. All he'll have to do is mention policy. If you think that we can be unburdened by what was, it's like, what are you talking about? We're living in the freest nation on the planet, and they are desperately trying to take it away. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.